Southampton Solent Quidditch Society, edited by Jess Bendy. Over the last couple of months, I've taken an insight into the Quidditch Society, right here at Solent University. If you're unsure of what Quidditch is, then don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, when I asked members of the public, this was the common response that I got. What do you know about Quidditch?
Oh, is that game from Harry Potter?
It's from Harry Potter.
I know it's from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I know it's from Harry Potter.
I don't know a lot about it. I know that it's a game that they play in Harry Potter. Is that right?
Yes, indeed. Quidditch is from Harry Potter, but it is now a growing sport. I decided to go along to one of their training sessions to see what all the fuss was about.
What made you want to join?
It's really exciting because it's such a new sport. It's only sort of 12 years in the making since it was sort of brought into the real world.
I do quite like the reaction you get when you say you play Quidditch. That's always good fun.
How every year it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, especially at the university here in Southampton and then across the country and across Europe and the world, really.
What do you think makes Quidditch a successful society?
I think it's to do with the sport and that everyone here is really friendly and inclusive, and you get people from different environments coming. So you get a few people who've done sports before and they bring that competitive edge, and then you get people who have come from no sports before and they want to try something new. And it's all very sort of open-minded and accepting.
Quidditch Through the Ages. A game of Quidditch ends only when the golden snitch has been caught or by mutual consent of the two team captains.
I found out from the President Kerry that the regional qualifier tournament was being held right here in Southampton. I thought it was only fair if I went along to watch them compete myself.
There are over 50 clubs in the UK. When I joined, I didn't realise that there was like a standing British national Quidditch team who compete nationally at other tournaments as well, so I never realised like it would be this big.
Southampton Solent then won the tournament and qualified for EQC. A great achievement.
We were really hoping to get into the top four, and qualifying for EQC has topped everything.
Yeah, I mean, like getting into final means that we qualified for the European Quidditch Cup, which is happening in Pfaffenhofen, that's near Munich, in April. So that's really exciting.
We thought it'd be a great idea to talk to the man behind it all, head coach Tommy Morgan. Here's Emily in the studio asking him a few questions about the sport itself and what the future holds for Quidditch.
Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for being here
and worries.
Letting us come to the tournament and training.
That's all right.
We've got a few questions for you. How long ago did you join the Quidditch Society?
So it would have been about 2.5 years ago now, so in my first year at uni.
What made you want to join?
Truth be told, it was a friend of mine dragging me along. I didn't originally really want to go. We kind of just saw it at our bun fight, and then I came from a sporting background myself, and he was like, oh, we should go and kind of check it out. And we were too hungover to go to dodgeball, so we went to Quidditch instead, and then we kind of kept going along, and then, yeah, kind of fell in love with it.
What do you think makes Quidditch a successful society at Solent?
Probably the inclusivity of it. We don't really have judgments on backgrounds or anything like that. You can have a massively sporting background, you can have no sport whatsoever, and we still will take that on and we'll try and work with that.
We spoke to some members of the public and they didn't seem to realise that Quidditch was played as a sport and how popular it is. What do you think the average public perception of Quidditch is?
Probably not a very good one, to be honest. Certainly for me, before I joined, it was, I kind of saw it as a bit of it's a weird thing. It's not the best one in the world, but then once you're kind of part of that and part of that world, then it becomes a little bit different.
We understand that you're qualified to go to the European Championships in Germany. How are you going to prepare your team and what are your plans for the coming months?
It's a tricky one because it's so far away now, so we have about 4 or 5 months to prepare for that now. And post-Christmas, we're going to start to ramp up trainings a little bit more. It's going to be more intense. And then, yeah, we're going to try and gel the team a little bit more and try and get them working together.
If you had to compare Quidditch to any similar sports, even if it's a mix, how would you do so?
I think it would be kind of a cross between rugby, dodgeball, netball, basketball, kind of a mix of that, and that's something that I actually use quite a lot in my coaching and in my tactics and things like that. I look to more established sports.
Do you play with the team, or is your role entirely coaching?
So it's a mix. So in the last couple of months, I've taken a step back from playing and I've just focused on the coaching. EQC qualifier was quite important, though I wanted to make sure that we did get that as well. I am also part of the UK system, so I work with the international players basically to train them up, and for that more specifically I'm just a coach, so I go along and I'm their specific coach there.
Where does Solent's team rank in the UK then?
So we are currently at, well, you could put us at second currently for winning the regional.
My final question, apart from being taken from the Harry Potter books, how much of that area ties in with the sport itself?
Pretty much nothing now. In early days, pre myself playing and a lot of the guys that are still playing now, it was very much just like exactly the same as the books, except on the ground. But no, it's very different now. People try and make it as much of a sport, because I know the people who are at the forefront of it, so the head coaches of their different nations and things like that, are very much sporting backgrounds now. Everyone's very competitive now, so they're all trying to make it as much as a sport as they can. There's elements of that. Obviously, it's taken from the book, and you have the broom as well, which I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with. But yeah, it's very different now.
Thanks for coming along and answering
worries.
all of our questions, and thanks for being part of the podcast.
That's all right.
Harry was speeding towards the ground when the crowd saw him clap his hand to his mouth as though he was going to be sick. He hit the floor on all fours, coughed, and something gold fell into his hand. "I've got the snitch!" he shouted, waving above his head, and the game ended in complete confusion.
Thank you all for listening. The society is open for anyone to join and everyone is welcome. Please get in contact via Facebook if you're interested, at Southampton Quidditch Society. A special thanks to my group, Tian, Grace, Chloe and Emily, and of course John Fursfield for reading out the quotes, and Tommy Morgan for the interview.